I'm about to put this Sony FX2 footage through some crazy torture, and this is the final result. And then we're going to apply the same exact grade with the proper color science on this Panasonic S1 II, and here is the result. You tell me which one you like more, comment below. The footage came from Jason Morrison. He has an epic YouTube channel where he breaks down cameras, everything, filmmaking, DIY stuff. Anytime a new camera comes out, I go straight to his channel. So please give him a follow. And as a thank you, him and I will be giving you this practice footage so you can actually put whatever you learn here to test. Now, before we begin, if you want to learn about 3 months of content instead of just jumping from video to video in 1 hour, I have a color grading training that is absolutely free. Check it out after you finish watching this video. For those that don't know me, my name is Qazi. I've worked with brands like ADIDAS, Amazon Prime, Universal Studios, and I make no just straightforward color grading tutorials so you can work with your dream clients. So let's quickly go through core specs between the two cameras. So for Sony FX2, it has 33 megapixel sensor. It takes a 7K image and then oversamples it to 4K. 15 plus stops of dynamic range, according to Sony. It has a dual base ISO of 800 and 4000. And it does internal recording 10-bit 422 or 16-bit RAW through HDMI. Huge cons about this camera, 27 millisecond of rolling shutter. That's pretty terrible. And people are saying that this camera has the worst sensor for video. Some people are saying that they crammed a photo sensor into a video camera, which also is contributing to a crazy rolling shutter. But to me, all that matters is how does it perform when it comes to color grading. And now let's compare it to Panasonic, which has 5.9K internal ProRes RAW, mind blown. 12 millisecond rolling shutter, which is half of FX2, dynamic range boost mode, which we'll find out, Venus engine color science, they get fancy with it, but again, we'll really know what it is like when we put this to test. All right, so we're inside Resolve and we got two clips. This one is from FX2 and then this one is from Panasonic. And I've already gone ahead and done the conversion. So we have S-Log 3 to Rec. 709, okay? And we have Panasonic V-Gamut V-Log to Rec. 709. So let's just make it a little bit bigger. Let's pull this down. Let's maybe buy some more real estate and put this here. And if I just go back and forth, I mean, come on. We don't even need any scopes to just look at how different these shots are when we do a conversion. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to create a look and just push it, but push it in the right way. We're still going to come up with like fun look. And then we're just going to copy paste that to Panasonic with obviously the right IDT so we can do the comparison and see what we got. We're just going to start off with our first node right here for our primaries. And what I want to do in my primaries is like, I just want to open up the image. I want to compress the highlights and I want to compress the shadows, like raise the shadows. Okay. So how can we go about that? What I'm going to do is simple. We're just going to go right here and between our dark shadow, I'm just going to look at this area right here and I want to lift that up a little bit, not too much. I want to take my shadows and I want to lift it up and see how it's opening up my image. That's exactly what I want, okay? Then I want to go in my highlights and I'm now looking at what's happening behind her and I want to start pulling that down. I don't want to do anything too unrealistic. My eyes are basically right here, and the second this starts getting crummy and compressed, that's too far. But at the same time, I do want to push it. So let's just say even if we park it somewhere around here, and if I do before and after, look at how much we opened our image. Just look at this. Where we were to where we are, and don't worry about like losing the contrast because that's gonna be taken care of in 6, 7, 8. We're gonna build our look right here. Right now, we just want to get the most amount of dynamic range out of our image. So let's just keep working on the exposure and what can we do to like get the most amount of juice out of that. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna type in depth map, and what I want to do is I want to select these areas behind her. So I'm going to invert this, open these two. I'm going to turn this guy on and let's just go to near. And we want to select everything besides her face, something like that. I'm going to turn off the depth map, turn on post-processing. And now what I want to do is just simply go in here and go in our highlights and pull that back. So let's just pull our highlights back to something like -50, something like that. And if I do before and after, I mean, it makes a pretty big difference, right? I think it's going to make a lot more sense once we drop our look and start building that out. So I'm going to click right here. I'm going to type in DCTL. I'm going to be using Look DNA right here. And if you want to try out this DCTL for free, link is going to be in the description. Just check it out. Okay, scroll all the way down to the landing page or on the landing page, and then just click download and test it out for free. There is no time limit, so you can just have fun with it. Under presets, I'm going to go ahead and select Kodak 2383. And remember why we opened up our image so much? For this day right here. So now everything is still intact. It is a little bit on the nose though. It's kind of, you know, pretty in there, in your face. So one thing that I want to do right now is I want to, in this node, drop another DCTL called QT Charts. And that is going to help us tell us the story for what we're doing with our look. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and turn on a couple of different charts. So my color chart, and then I want to do my exposure ramp, and you will see what's happening here once we start building out. Like, look at this. This is before, this is after. So you see, like, it tells you exactly what we're doing with these colors. But we're going to go ahead and start having fun with it. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my midtone a little bit. Okay, so I'm actually gonna show you what I'm doing. So let's turn on show curves, and now mid contrast is turned off, and now we're opening it up a little bit. I'm gonna go in my mid contrast green, and I'm going to go somewhere around here. I like a little bit of magenta in my shadows. And then what do we want to do here? So let's just keep going off of that theme. I like this. This is looking really nice. And then in our highlights, do we want to like pull these down? No, I don't want to mess with my highlights. What about my white Y? That makes it look like film, so I like that. So I want to touch that. And but what do I want to do up there? Do I want to leave it as is? So it's very cinematic, Kodak 2383, like very true to that. What do I want to do on the low end? Do I want to open up my low end? Do I want to keep it pretty tight? And then do I want to introduce some sort of like hue down there? I think this is like very ADIDAS, like what we're doing down here. Like, look at how good this is looking, to be honest with you. Like, just keep an eye right here. So this is before our look DNA, and then this is after. Oh my God, this is to die for, guys. Like, we're getting such a good color and separation. I mean, just like, look at this, how all of this is popping. And then you can see exactly what we're doing right here. So if I do before and after, just look at how we're adding this green warmth in the highlights, and then we're adding these cooler tones in the shadows, and how every color start to pop. So this is doing quite a bit. I'm very happy with what's happening here. So we're gonna just go ahead and turn off the curves. And now what I wanna do is I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna drop another DCTL called Color Compressor. And then this is going to help us. I'm gonna go right here and then choose a target hue. And we're gonna play with our target hue. So let's go ahead and take the color compressor or compression near and just crank it all the way. And what that does is that this is going to take this color, anything that's close to it, and then bring everything, all the other hues around it. You can see it right here. It's just compressing all the other hues around that. We can even see it right here and what's happening right here in our actual QT charts. So what I want to do is I want to pull her skin out and a lot of these warm tones out, okay? So that is done by using your nearby color cutoff. And I'm going to start pulling it back and just like look at what's happening. You see how we're pulling her out? I want to blend her in. I don't want to do too much of that, okay? So if we go here, and now we can go in our global blend and start pulling that back. Now we can go in our target hue and start turning that around if we are looking for a different kind of look. Okay, so something like that. Now I can turn this off, I can turn this off, and I can do before and after. Oh my God, what a difference we made. And like, look at, we can see what we're doing here. What a quintessential gym sort of ad or Nike ad, or just think of anything like that, and that's what we're creating. That's what you usually see. Okay, that's the look that we're going for. I mean, look at this. Like, this right here is like such a vintage blue. Wow. Okay, so we're getting there. I mean, just like, look at the skin tones and then the color separation right here. I mean, come on, look at this before and after, and how the skin tones pop against the background. It's looking absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna drop on another DCTL called Film Density. By the way, again, you can try out all of these for free. Link is gonna be in the description. And then all I wanna do is just, the red is way too nuclear. So I'm just gonna go in there. I'm gonna grab my red. I didn't mean to flip this. And I'm just gonna grab my red and I'm going to start compressing it. So just look at what I'm doing. Okay. So let's just say if it's affecting our face too much, like right here, we can get rid of it. We can just go to red fall and we can keep pulling it until it doesn't affect the face, but it still affects this, and we can see what we're doing here right there. Okay. So look at this. We can even push it more if we want to. And if I do before and after, I mean, wow. What a difference. If I take these three and if I do before, right? And then after. One thing that I want to do, I want to create a node right before this. And what I want to do is I just want to pull this down. I feel like the saturation is a bit on the nose and I want to just give it a more of a cinematic look. I want to go under sat versus sat, just click right here. And then pull this down just a touch, not too much, okay? Just a touch. We can go to our saturation limiter, and the whole idea of saturation limiter is that it's gonna go and find anything that's too nuked and pull it down. And it did that. So like, look at the red right here. And if I turn this off, and it's like how it pokes. And then if I turn it back on, it just dials it back a little bit, okay? So this is where I would want to keep it, but the last thing that I want to do is use this third-party plugin by Video Village called Scatter. Absolutely love it. It's like the most natural post-filter effect. If you were to have like a filter on your actual lens, it's giving you that feel in post. I just want to go and let's just say we select something like Glimmer Glass, and just like, look at what it's doing. It's like such a mist coming through, right? It's a morning workout and it's like this mist just coming through and it just looks so good. I mean, look at this, and it's so real. You know, the one thing that I want to do is I want to go here now in my look DNA and I want to mess with my temp and tint. And these temp and tint in look DNA, they work just like actual temp and tint in your camera. Okay, so I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna see what I want to do with it. That's it. You know, the one thing that we can do is like, what if we go here in our contrast and we do push it a little bit? You know what I'm focusing on? Just her skin. Just like right here. I just want to make sure that that looks good. And now that we have this, our final, I want to click right here, middle click, to copy that grade. And then I just want to go here and I want to change that to Panasonic. And I want to change that to Panasonic. And that's what we got. So that is absolutely hilarious to me, to how different these two shots are. Let's just say we want to save this. So let's save this still. Okay. Now let's go to this shot and let's paste this still and see where we at. Like, I mean, look at this. It just, look at the detail that we got back in our Sony compared to Panasonic. Now, okay, if somebody says, bro, the exposure difference is crazy, let's control that. So let's just make up for it. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna drop the exposure so we're closer to what we have going on here. So let's pull it up a little bit. And I'm only affecting the global exposure. This works like exposure in your camera. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I do not want to manipulate anything else, because then the test is not going to be accurate, okay? So look at this. Now we're pretty close. With Sony, the dynamic range, it blends in so much nicer. Like, look at the contrast right here. How crazy the contrast is. It's the same light. It's being shot at the same time. Just look at the difference. I mean, look at how much more detail we have in our highlights and in our shadows, and how natural the shot looks in Sony compared to Panasonic. All right, so if I were to tell you who should buy which camera, if you do a lot of run and gun and you shoot documentary style stuff, I feel like Panasonic is pretty good. The shallow depth of field is to the minimum, and most importantly, you don't have crazy rolling shutter. And if you're running and gunning, if you're throwing a Rec 709 conversion on it, I think it gets you there faster than Sony. For every other purpose, Sony. You're shooting a narrative, you're shooting a music video, you're shooting a commercial, you're doing some other fun projects, Sony is it. If you're shooting fast cars, do not use Sony, because that 27 millisecond rolling shutter is going to absolutely destroy it. So anything action-based, I would say avoid Sony, go with Panasonic. But in every other aspect, Sony image quality is way superior. Moral of the story is that specs don't tell the whole story. Ultimately, you want to touch it, you want to feel it, you want to put it through your own test and see it for yourself, which one is the right camera for you. If you enjoyed this video, then do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and more importantly, check out the links in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, fam.